So yeah, let's do a settling in meditation. So go ahead and find a comfortable position, sitting or lying down, whichever is comfortable for you. But just make sure that you're awake and aware how you're holding your body. We'll take a few deep breaths, pulling our attention inward. And as you're exhaling, just let go of the day. Just let all that tension and stress roll off your shoulders. Just be here in this group, letting the day go. This is your little vacation from that. Time for yourself. And you might want to do a body check. See which areas of your body may be tight. And breathing into those areas and just relaxing them a bit more. Feeling supported in your chair. And feeling into your body and the contact points where you're making contact with the seat. Perhaps you're leaning back in your chair. You may have your feet on the floor. And noticing the different temperatures in those contact points. Some may be cool or some may be warm. Some may be firm or soft. Just aware of all the feelings in your body. And with that, we can notice any tight areas, any muscles that we can let go of just a bit more. Taking another deep breath in, and as you exhale, just sinking a little deeper into the cushion. Bringing your attention to your breath, watching the body breathe naturally. It's observing that inflow and the outflow of the air. Noticing that sensation in your nostrils, the movement of your body as your chest and belly expand and contract. And as the thoughts come into your mind, just notice that you're thinking and come back to the body sensations and the rhythm of the breath. It's important that we take these few minutes, at least once a day, to just relax into ourselves. Let our thoughts go. Reconnect to ourselves and check in What do I need right now? What does my body need right now? Now you feel free to make adjustments to your body if it's uncomfortable. And when your mind wanders, again, come back to the breath and the rooting in your body, just being here now. As we learn how to keep our attention on one thing, our breath, our body, we're training our mind to not go off into stories. Part of our awareness training, our mindfulness training. Where are my thoughts? And then coming back to the breath again and again. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes and coming back to the group. So, the reason we begin with the meditation is just kind of drop the thoughts for the day. We've had a busy day. Even if we were at home, stuck at home from the rain, we were busy. We were doing things. Maybe we were reading or cleaning. Who knows? But sometimes it's hard to let those things go at the end of the day. Sometimes it's hard to just close our eyes and come back to ourselves and not have that busy mind that's constantly chattering, which is the number one thing I hear. How can I meditate if my mind won't stop talking to me? And everybody has thoughts. Everybody is going to have thoughts. We just don't need to get caught up in the story. The thoughts tell us things, but they're not necessarily true. They're just thoughts. So we take these time, once a day, twice a day if you can, and just sit and quiet your mind and be with your body and the sensations in your body and the rhythm of your breath, and just kind of let things go. Give yourself that little mini vacation that Pat was talking about last time. This is your time. So I wanted to take a few minutes of your time to talk about cultivating joy. In the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about our mindful intentions, setting our intentions for the new year. And last week we added compassion, working on self-compassion. So this week I thought we could move forward using our self-compassion into cultivating joy. 2 years ago today, the great Vietnamese teacher Thich Nhat Hanh passed away. And if you knew anything about him, you knew that he was just one of the most gentlest souls ever. Sweet, caring, loving, compassionate. It's really all he wanted to teach was compassion. So in celebration of his life, we're reminded of a couple of his teachings that support our compassion practice. And that is the mud that grows the lotus of joy. Now, a lot of people have heard him say, no mud, no lotus. And that's just a simple way of saying sometimes we have to go through some lousy stuff to learn enough lessons to come out on the other side of it happy. One of his quotes is, most people are afraid of suffering, but suffering is a kind of mud to help the lotus flower grow. There can be no lotus flower without the mud. So what this can mean to us in our mindfulness practice is that the difficult things that we go through are what we grow through, right? We've heard that before. And that growth, if it's positive, is the lotus, the lesson. That's the flower. He also said, the present moment is the substance with which the future is made. Therefore, the best way to take care of the future is to take care of the present moment. So each moment, if we're aware and present, that's where we learn. If we're awake to what's around us and awake to how we interact to those events, this is where we learn how we want to be in the world. So if we want to be happy, we consciously choose to move toward the positive side of things. And it's really easy to find fault with things, especially if things aren't going the way we want them to. But to find the good or positives, sometimes, even though they're there, it takes effort. It takes effort to identify them and to bring them to our attention. But noticing these positives and this right effort, which is our practice, we develop more joy within our hearts, which is a really wonderful habit. So the negative thoughts that we have is a habit, and we can replace those with positive thoughts, which is a great habit to start cultivating. One of the other quotes I have from Thich Nhat Hanh is, letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. So he's saying that we build our own cage or our own prison by trying to hold on to what's impermanent, what's already gone. But letting go isn't easy, so it's no wonder that we do hang on to things. This is a really difficult world sometimes, and holding on to things sometimes really makes us feel secure. But if they're not bringing us joy, then we don't really need to hold on to them. So we take a look at our behavior, we take a look at our habits and just evaluate them. Try not to criticize or judge, but by evaluating whether they're making us happy or if they're adding to our sadness or anxiety. And we can take a look at the things we cling to and decide whether they're important or not. It may be that we just made it important with those stories that we told ourselves about. So, as we begin this process of letting go, the first step is to look inside and take an honest assessment of what we cling to. So, do we cling to possessions? Is it maybe an idea of how things should be? Maybe we're clinging to anger or people or relationship that's growing in a different direction. But once we identify what the source is, can we find a way to let go? And this is where we really want to bring that self-compassion in. Can we be gentle with ourselves while we adjust to this letting go? Can we loosen our grip just enough to begin the process of letting go? So let's say you have anger toward people or their actions that you don't like. And we have a habit of saying something about it, finding fault with it. If you could try to see these things as just a part of life, it makes it a lot easier. They're not pleasant. They're the mud. But when we can be with the mud and still be okay, then we're developing that flower, that lotus. So developing a way of allowing it and moving on. If we continue to look at the negative side of things, the more we feed that anger, the larger the anger grows and the deeper that habit. So catching it is important. But let's say you have a closet full of clothes and you really only wear half of them, maybe a couple other things that you like to have for special occasions. But a lot of us have a lot of clothes that we don't wear. Can you begin by opening the closet door and just taking a couple things out and put them in a box? You don't even need to give the box away, but it's a start, right? Just taking something and putting it in a box. Can I allow myself to be with that feeling that comes up? Maybe you're fine with it, but sometimes it's really hard. What if I need this? Well, if you haven't worn it in a year, you probably don't need it. So your rational mind should be invited in. And if you picture giving those clothes to someone who does need them, imagine the smile on their face. And that brings a sense of joy. So if we can fold something up and put it in a box and know that somebody's going to pick up this lovely thing and smile and be happy, that is a sense of joy that we can create in our heart. And it helps us let go of things. But it's a small example, but the point is giving creates a feeling of joy. Generosity and gratitude create joy. And so what we're really letting go of is the illusion of control in a world that changes. This attempt to control things keeps us bound in fear. And a lot of times we feel that we're controlling something and feeling safe, but that constant clinging and hanging on is actually more of a panic and more of an anxiety rather than joy. So these are things to just look at and see if we have any of these habits and try to untangle them a little bit. There's a lot of ways to create joy in our lives. And a lot of really simple ways too. Waking up in the morning and just naming every day, naming 3 different things that we're grateful for. That's pretty simple. It is very powerful, especially if we can remember throughout the day what those 3 things are. Pausing in the afternoon and saying, oh yeah, this morning I was grateful for these 3 things. Let me feel that in my heart. Let me experiment with that and see how it feels. And the other easy things we can do is just being aware of how we're talking to ourselves, finding fault with things, catching it, when you find yourself focusing on those negatives. That's the most important time, is when you're catching it, because that's when you can change it. That's when you can notice it and decide you want to change that. You don't want to continue that pattern. So catching it when you say something negative towards yourself and laughing it off and then saying something nice to yourself. Just changing that. So through this practice of letting go, we create joy for ourselves. We see ourselves reacting. We see ourselves, whether we have anger, greed, aversion, and we just notice it. It's an important thing to notice. It's an important thing to recognize when it comes up. See it for what it is. Don't judge yourself. Don't criticize yourself. Just notice it and try to change your thought patterns. Try to change your behavior a little bit. And those little teeny changes start developing into bigger changes, and you can develop happier, more joyful life. There we go. All right. Well, let's do a meditation then. And I'm going to just kind of lead you through and suggest some ideas on letting go. So we'll begin by getting comfortable, finding a comfortable position, sitting up straight but not rigid. Taking a few deep breaths, pulling our attention inward. And as we're exhaling, just letting go of the stress and tension we hold in our body, letting the shoulders relax and the belly soften. Loosening the jaw muscle. And letting your arms feel heavy in your lap or on the side. And we can anchor in our body, if this is comfortable for you, to just notice where your body is, the different sensations you might feel in your body, whether surface sensations, inner sensations. Maybe you can feel a pulse. And you can bring your attention to your breath, which may be easier for you. And notice as you inhale, we're going to experience the entire breath in. And we feel that if we keep our mouth closed and breathe through our nose, we notice at the tip of our nose, we might feel some air coming in, nice and cool through the nostrils. You might feel in the back of your throat. And feeling your body expand as you breathe in and contract as you breathe out. And noticing that warm air as you exhale. You may feel that on your upper lip. And we stay with the rhythm of that breath, watching our body breathing naturally. And noticing the thoughts that come into our mind. and coming back to the breath or anchoring in the body. And by returning to the body or the breath, we're training our mind to be aware of our thoughts, of our breath, of the body's movements. And this awareness brings attention to how we're behaving in the world. How are we interacting? And if we want to create joy in our world, we want to concentrate our thoughts in the direction of positivity. We want to be aware of how we're speaking, how we are interrelating to each other. If you want to be joyful, moving through the world with a state of compassion is an important part of that. We're all doing our best. And some people struggle more than others. And this is where compassion is most important. People that are really suffering. Angry people, full of suffering. So looking inside, just kind of going briefly over your general attitude toward life. Is there anything that you could let go of? Is there an attitude you might be able to let go of? Or at least decide to stay attentive when it comes up. It's hard to let go of a habit, but if we can notice it, if we can be awake to it and see it when it begins, we can catch it and then make adjustments, make changes. And when we fall back into our old habits, it's okay. We don't need to criticize or judge ourselves. We just notice. So looking inside, find one small behavior that you could improve on. And now ask yourself why you're choosing this one particular behavior. What is it that you're not happy with in regards to this behavior? What is it you don't like about this? How does it make you feel? So if you were bringing up that behavior now toward yourself or someone else, how do you feel in your body? Is there an area that might feel tense? Maybe your throat or your shoulders or your stomach. And maybe you furrow your brow. And how would it be if you were to just let this behavior go or put it aside? how else could you behave instead? Could you replace it with a more positive behavior? Could you just put it aside? If we can't think of a replacement behavior, we can just put it aside, not get involved in that right now. And now bring your attention to a memory of something that makes you smile. Could be a situation where you've given somebody something, or you've helped them in some way. And you get that sense of generosity. You feel good about it. You feel that sense of joy, seeing someone smile. So when we sense into these two behaviors, I think we know which one feels better. So making a note of that, we can make a conscious effort to move toward the positive when we catch ourselves thinking and feeling negative. How can I make this joyful? How can I turn this around? And sometimes it's just a matter of letting it go and not getting involved. So returning to your breath, we stay with the rhythm of that breath. And you notice as you're staying with the rhythm of your breath, you might notice your body moving. Maybe there's a sense of rocking. And bring your attention to the heart area in your chest. And thinking of someone or something that makes you smile just by thinking of them. It could be a child or a pet, a special person. Just thinking of them makes you smile and feel joyful. And then allow that joy to spread through your body. And just fill yourself with that joy. If you have a memory that you can go to that makes you happy, just linger there, feeling that happiness. You don't need to cling to it or hold on to it, but just enjoy those moments. And then coming back to the breath again, anchoring in the body. Maybe doing a body scan and see if there's any changes. Did your body relax a bit more or tense up anywhere? When we work with emotions, our body does react to the emotion. And our emotions also react to our body. If we're stiff and sore, our emotions are not always their best. So smiling releases those endorphins in your brain. It helps you relax and feel better. Taking a deep breath stimulates the part of your brain that helps your body relax. Now we can repeat a few things to ourselves. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be free from fear and danger. May I be free from fear and danger. May I be free from pain and sorrow. May I be free from pain and sorrow. May I hold myself with great care and compassion. May I hold myself with great care and compassion. May I let go of what no longer serves me. May I let go of what no longer serves me. May I know that I am worthy of happiness. May I know that I'm worthy of happiness. May I create joy in my life and share that joy with others. May I create joy in my life and share that joy with others. So I think it's really important um, to begin the year with the intention of just trying to be a happier you, right? We're here to live our life. I don't think we're here to suffer. I think we're given the opportunity in our mind to create happiness. We have the ability to be happy. So why not develop that? Why not let that lotus bloom and get bigger? So the more we feed that, the easier it'll become. And those habits will change. This is part of the mindfulness practice, is just being aware of when we're not being positive and switching that.